Welcome. Welcome to our joyous celebration of Erica. So wonderful to see everyone here greeting each other with hugs and being here in love. Nancy, if you could come up, please. Good afternoon. It's a real honor and pleasure to do this for Erica. I just want to say I met Erica in 1995. She was one of my very first yoga students. And Erica and our lives weaved in and out over the years, and then she was one of my first energy healing students. And so in our class in the energy work, we always call in the 4 directions to create a sacred space and to just ground ourselves here present. And so for our dear friend Erica, so we call to you, Spirit of the East, place of the sun, place of enlightenment, place of inspiration, illumination. Come, Spirit of the East, be with us this day, dance with us. Open us to receive that which we are to receive this day. Place of no beginnings. Spirit of the East, come. Be with us now. Spirit of the South, we call to you, Spirit of the South, place of the moon, place of ease and flow, place of the heart. Spirit of the South, help us to open our hearts to live heart-centered lives. Help us to connect with our friend Erica this day. Be with us now. Spirit of the West, place of the earth, place of magic, place of groundedness, physical healing. Spirit of the West, come and be with us. Help us to connect to the power and the magic of the sweet Mother Earth. We ask your presence this now. And Spirit of the North, place of the stars, place of light, place of intuition and wisdom. Spirit of the North, we ask for your presence this day. Be with us. And so, spirits of the 4 directions, we ask for your presence on this land, in this room, and in our hearts. And may we open to celebrate the life of Erica Chase-Salerno. Ahom Takuyasan, Ahom. And now we're going to invite Erica's parents to come up, please.
Erica's life was planned greeted her December 11th, 1969, early Christmas present to the family. And she was born, I looked up, it was a natural birth, and I said to the doctors, everything okay? Because nothing was heard when she was delivered. Scary time. And he said, do you want me to slap her so she'll cry? I said, God, no. Just then, like she understood, she just gave a little whimper of approval that she made it. I was ecstatic. I couldn't wait to have her. And on the way home, Bob turned on the radio, the CD player. And it had, it was a cassette. I stand. It was a
record player when we go.
Oh, it was in a car. It must have been a cassette.
I wasn't there.
You were driving and you turned on "You've Made Me So Very Happy." And it had a double meaning because Erica made us both very happy. The first night, she woke up after 4 hours, and Bob took her to me to be nursed. And then she was satisfied, and she slept another 4 hours, so she was on a good schedule from the beginning. She was so loved, and was the first girl that his mother could really worship, because she had 2 boys, and there were a lot of boys on his father's side. So she was really cherished by everybody. My mother said from day one that she was going to be well known and come into prominence no matter what she did. And then when she graduated from college, she said, she should run for mayor, she knows a lot. Or some kind of political office. I said, probably she's too smart to get into politics. But it seemed like everywhere Erica went, she made a lot of friends and made everybody feel welcome when she walked into a room. That I thought reflected what I felt. This is by Paul Engel. A good daughter is like a good piece of writing. Candid, lyrical, graceful, moving, alive. I have seen a young girl walk across a room intent on her intense errand, and it was like seeing a voice become visible, as if not her tongue, but her motion said, I will do this for my life. That sort of sums up what Erica did in every aspect of her life. Last year, I came across through Facebook an author, Rachel Bloom, who wrote The Doctor of Flowers, and I was taken by her poem. I'd like to read one to you. In the same year, time came to our house. The map maker returned to my dreams. And if I called him, it was in a dark language of animal faces, solitary before bridges made of the 4 a.m. rain, or in temporary pairs while light fell on hollow trees. We spoke once, and I showed you this despair. Beneath the surface, fish turned gold in black water and swam through the folds. It's like surprises when something negative happens. Wait long enough and something positive comes out of it. Unfortunately, it took a negative loss of Erica to bring everybody together today, but that's the way Erica lived her life, bringing people together. This is from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler, Life Lessons. Two experts on death and dying teach us about the mysteries of life and living. When people are buffeted by seemingly endless windstorms and their lives look like calamities, they may wonder why they have been given so many tests and why God appears to be so merciless. Going through hardship is like being a rock in a tumbler. You're tossed to and fro and get bruised. But ahead of time, we must rely on those who have faced life-changing illnesses to be instructors. People make enormous changes at the very end of their lives. One of the most surprising lessons our teachers offer is that life doesn't end with the diagnosis of a life-changing illness. That's when it truly begins. It begins at this point because when you acknowledge the reality of your death, you also have to acknowledge the reality of your life. You realize that you are still alive, that you have to live your life now, and that you only have this life now. The primary lesson the dying teach us is to live every day to its fullest. So may us all.
When Erica was growing up, as a little tyke, would have various pet names that I would try out on her. One of my favorites was Turkey. And somehow that's lived on with the family in New Hampshire. We have a softball, wiffle ball, very organized, very organized game of wiffle ball called the Chase Farm Turkeys. But when I would try that out on Erica, I'm not Turkey, I'm Erica. And even before that, when you would offer to do something for her or to help her with something, no, Eka, do it. So Eka got to be a student at the local high school, Linton, now called Schenectady High. I mean, my God, what can you do to a name? And she had this idea to have hands around the school. So she organized this whole bunch of people, and everybody ringed the school, which is a pretty good sized building. And we weren't there to see that because we both had day jobs. She told us afterwards all about this, yeah. But she got these students fired up to ring the school with presumably infusing energy into the atmosphere of a positive nature. Mm-hmm. Oh, she called the superintendent. What did she call the superintendent for? Oh, she was given, okay, that's it. Yeah, this is a fundraiser, apparently. So it is that Erica has single-handedly brought a ring around this audience. And it's just a wonderful testament to you and your regard for her, whether you knew her personally, directly, or whether you knew of her, or were inspired by her, or read her writings in the blog that she kept, or whether you read the Kids' Almanac in the local paper. But she was always on the go from the get-go, as it were. And it's really quite a remarkable thing to feel that she is surrounding us by herself. And this aura from the east, west, south, and north is enveloping us in this space. And one of the wonderful things it says on her stone, everyday miracles. And I was in one of those tourist traps someplace, and I found one of these signs that tells for whatever it tells for. And I'd like to offer this to you all. It reads, "Today only happens once. Make it amazing." each of you to make somebody else's life amazing. A kind word, a thought, a gesture, a deed, whatever it might be. Or for yourself, but make today amazing, because it only happens once. I hope you all get a star from outside the door. If you didn't pick up the star, those were very important areas. Mine was never take part in an argument you walk away from. I didn't like that. Because I prefer to stick around. But Mary said, you are a spectacular person. But I would hope that each of you would take one of those stars. There are cards there also, as a memento of this particular day. And each one of them has a different saying in it. And I would hope that you would take it. Spoiler alert, squeeze the star first, you will find where it opens. Don't just destroy it and rip it apart, like Christmas morning. But thank you again for coming. It's so very special to see friends from near, friends from afar. Some of you I know, most of you I don't. Some of you I even like. Oh, I didn't see that.
Speaking of Mike, Erica couldn't have married into a more loving family. Even my mother, when she met Mike's parents at Erica and Mike's wedding, said, what a beautiful family she's married into. And I've told Olga several times that Erica didn't have one set of parents, she had two sets of loving parents. They always came through when we couldn't get to her. And on this Father's Day, I'd like to wish Michael the very happiest Father's Day. Under the circumstances, it's not the happiest, I'm sure, for him, but we just want him to know you have all our support. And again, thank you for the blessing of yourself to Erica.
Kids clean up good too. Oh, read it today? Thank you, folks.
So we did want to just take a moment to acknowledge those who are not here in body, but we know are definitely here in spirit. As you both mentioned, there's a ring of all of us around this space, and it's not just those of us able to sit in these chairs. Erica's brother George and his wife Vanessa were not able to make the physical journey to be with us today, but they will grace us with some beautiful music. prompts.
About it. Agreed.
They don't go together, but I think she wrote about this. At some point, spoke about it, blogged about it. Carrie's like, yeah. And I think her whole thing was she walked by it once and was like, what is this? Well, I'll try that sometime. It was like the last year or so before she died. And she's like, wait a minute. I don't have a lot of sometimes coming up, so I might as well just try it. So I brought some. So you can try some.
Linda, can we have that afterwards?
No.
Outside we can't? Okay.
Can I just try it right here over my back? So I'm not gonna like throw it out because of the bubbles. I've never tried it. This is for Erica.
Gluten-free.
Wait, there's two types. I got two types. There's dark chocolate, and there's chocolate raspberry.
Of course there is.
For Erica. That is not delicious. Somebody else has to like.
What's the
good times and sadness. It went beyond sharing love and passions. What they shared was life in its truest sense, the opening and the flow, and the becoming more of who they were. Friendship. Are you okay with me? Do you also talk about this? She was just always, she just had the right thing at the right time, no matter what it was. And she would get so excited, about all these crazy things. So, as symbolic of that, I have chewable original papaya enzymes. I don't even know if you like these, but I was looking around my house and I was like, this would be something. She'd be like, oh my gosh, it's like it rocked my world. Completely changed my life, and I don't understand why all of you are not trying these. Or it could have been peppermint reviving leg gel. This actually was hers. So is this spray too?
Well, that's
I have never.
spray. This is a leg gel.
Never walked the same streets.
And there was always this, right? Pringles. Like on her kitchen counter, there would be organic, local, sprouted flour harvested by joyful nuns or whatever. Right next to that bag, like $35 5-pound bag of flour, would be Pringles or gummy bears or whatever. And then a card, right? How many of us received some of those beautiful cards? This is a card that I'm going to read to Erica right now.
Mike, you want to visit work?
Well, good night. Congratulations, Erica. You did it. You lived an extraordinary life, died well, and now, no doubt, you are having a blast, bouncing off of stars, organizing supernovas, and spreading that infinite heart of yours throughout the universe. Thank you for being my friend, for celebrating the big and small moments of my life, for really seeing me, for roping me into all kinds of crazy schemes. Remember, diaper-free? Or elimination communication to make it sound more palatable? Yeah, thanks for that. I would have had the opportunity to clean up baby pee and poop all over the house for months without that brilliant idea. And thanks for holding my hand in the darkness. You are the most thoughtful person I've ever known. How did you do it? Remembering and honoring all those events that shaped my life. Sure, birthdays and holidays and anniversaries, but then all the ones in between. Buying a dairy cow, selling that dairy cow, starting a new business, moving to a new home, divorce. I'll never forget, my family was having a really hard time. My firstborn had high lead levels, and we had to move. We moved a bunch of times in a short period of time. And we ended up in a very small basement apartment that was pretty musty and not ideal. And she came in with her bag of goodies, walked in and was like, ah! This place is amazing! I love the layout! You're going to be doing so much entertaining here! And I felt like a queen in a castle for a few minutes, at least. But you all can relate to this, right? Like, oh, your haircut, oh, your keychain, oh, your children, oh, your pregnant belly, like whatever it was. your best gifts came from how you lived your life. You showed me how to take everything as an invitation to go deeper, to delight in the search, and open my heart more fully. I love you forever, your friend, Linda Brooke.
Carlo, if you can come up, please.
Upright bass for you. And I think I haven't really done this much before. I've experienced professional basis, that's what I do. And I've known Erica, I knew her since 1989. She first came to SUNY New Falls. We met through music in the orchestra. And so it was, we always had that musical connection, but she was always such a great friend. And many of the things that Linda Brooke spoke about were also, I could feel, I had the same feelings with her. So there's part of me that's saying, wow, I'm going to do this piece, and I can hear her saying, you can do this, you should do this, you can try something that you haven't done before, and really take it and make it home. So here we go.
So Nora could not be with us here in body, but is definitely here in spirit. But she sent some written reflections which will be read by our friend Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry, longtime friend and former racquetball partner of Erica. Friend, Mike has just informed me that apparently I was longtime friend of Erica. Well, one of the distinctive characteristics of my relationship with Erica was that we did enjoy one-upping each other and calling each other, children in the audience, plug your ears, inappropriate names. So when I got the call last night that Nora couldn't be with us, I immediately thought, Erica, you sneaky bitch. You got me to talk at this thing and I didn't even get a program reference. At this point, if you could each just reach in your bag and grab a pencil or a pen. After Nora Snyder's name, please just write performed or presented by, it's Terry, T-A-R-I-E. But as long as I'm mic'd up, I took a few notes while I was enjoying everyone else's remembrances. And I just wanted to share one story before I share Nora's writing. So last year, I asked Erica to go to a therapy session with me because we saw each other all the time and we had a lot of interfacing, but a lot of that communication and talk and time together was filled with the things that life is filled with. The kids and doing things, and also a lot of planning for her upcoming transition. And there were things that I just wanted to have the time and space to tell her in a very intentional way without having, the interruptions of daily life. And so I asked her about that, and she, as you can imagine, enthusiastically was all in on that. So there we were on my therapist's couch and, talking, and, Erica sort of led off the session and started sharing her thoughts and feelings, and then just kept sharing her thoughts and feelings. And at some point, the therapist politely reminded her that it was a 45-minute session. And so with the remaining 3 minutes, I asked her one of the questions that I really wanted to ask her, which was, I am a non-believer, and I know Erica is, not a non-believer, so I asked her, is there going to be some way that you'll be present in my life, or some way that you reveal yourself to me? And she sat back, she nodded her head slowly, and she spoke from the heart and said, do you know that moment in your life when it just doesn't seem possible? You can't figure it out. Things are not adding up. And then suddenly, something occurs to you. And it all makes sense, and it all is possible. And I nodded my head. She said, when that happens to you, that is me. That is me. And it took a second, but then I was like, so did you just take credit for every good idea I ever had for the rest of my life? She reached over and squeezed my hand. So Nora Snyder sends her love and this remembrance to all of us. Hello, everyone. As I write this, I'm trying to imagine the big love happening in this room full of people who knew and loved our Erica. I'm sure it's mind-blowing, all caps, which is probably how dear Erica would have described it herself. I'm so appreciative for all of the people and forces that came together to make this day possible. Thank you for making her vision a reality. And a special thank you to you, Terry. She really wrote that. And you're welcome, Nora. Oh, and I will absolutely not start writing something wildly inappropriate that you will have to read aloud. That would have been fun, though. Lately, I've been having a few reoccurring portraits of Erica in my mind that maybe you share as well. One involves her search for words. When we were deep in conversation and I was in an anticipatory stance, we were having spirit talk. So she's trying to articulate the intangible, and I am straining to understand every nuance. And she looks into the far distance past me, just above my right ear. Her smile is slight and soft, her eyes sparkling. Another memory is seeing her in the distance. She is walking with purpose. She's probably late, ha. And she is at a forward lean, her long legs at an exaggerated gait, and it appears as if she could take off like a beautiful heron, a bird that I still associate with her. Lastly, I recall those seconds before Erica would break into a shriek of enthusiasm. It's like the electrons would shift in the air, and I knew it was coming, and it was so exciting. Just bearing witness to it felt like riding a wave with her. Such joy. These are just little pieces. It's impossible to say it all. I want to leave you with a little story that Erica told me many times at many gatherings, from her own, mostly perspective. The Norica, Nora and Erica, origin story. 15 some odd years ago, I posted a free item on Erica and Mike's online forum, Hudson Valley Parents. It was probably some kind of toy, since I was swimming with babies at that time. I gave my home address and advised that the item was available at the end of our driveway. Seeing the post, Erica shows up unannounced at my door. And with very little preamble, she launches into, "I don't know you, but I love what you write." Words that prophetically would carry me through many writing confidence crises later. "I just had to meet you." I was 100% stunned. First of all, I'm pretty sure no one had ever had to meet me before. I was tired and probably half-dressed and struggling to understand what exactly was happening. She was so tall and effusive, loud and gesturing. I had literally never encountered anyone like the exotic creature gushing at my doorstep. I was riveted. And in my own sleepy, socially deprived way, I could feel a tide turning. I was glimpsing a whole new paradigm for being a mother, a woman, a friend, and I was all in. I wanted more of this, and I couldn't even believe that this wanted me. My ears were ringing. I didn't even have the presence of mind to invite her in. Things unraveled quickly, although not permanently, after that, and before I knew it, she was gone. And I immediately wanted her back. And I still feel that way.
So Donna, Stephanie, and Maureen,
say a few quick words by way of introduction to these 3 poems. In her final weeks, Erica put quite a bit of time and thought into outlining her wishes for today's event, what and whom it would involve, when and where it would take place, what it would be called, a celebration. What you're witnessing here is exactly what Erica envisioned. We all know how powerful the strength of Erica's vision was. In our discussions about which poems should be read, she had 2 poets in mind, Rabindranath Tagore and Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver, who preceded Erica in death by just 2 weeks, and Stephanie thinks was probably harassed by Erica upon her arrival. My reading and discussion of these poets with Erica was cut short. She was still in the process of choosing the perfect poems when she died. But I read the 2 Tagore poems, which Maureen and Stephanie will read now, aloud to Erica in late January, and she loved hearing and thinking about both of them. Those were her words. I love thinking about this. And I think you'll understand why when you hear them. Hello. I have been sort of digesting this poem for a while, trying to figure out exactly the tone. And what just kept coming to me was Erica's pure joy, just joy in the simple little things. So I know that I could never read it as she would read it, but I think it's a beautiful piece. It is called Keep Me Fully Glad. Keep me fully glad with nothing. Only take my hand in your hand. In the gloom of the deepening night, take up my heart and play with it as you list. Bind me close to you with nothing. I will spread myself out at your feet and lie still. Under this clouded sky, I will meet silence with silence. I will become one with the night, clasping the earth in my breast. Make my life glad with nothing. The rains sweep the sky from end to end. Jasmines in the wet, untamable wind revel in their own perfume. The cloud-hidden stars thrill in secret. Let me fill to the full my heart with nothing but my own depth of joy.
I let Donna know I felt a little conflicted about this poem. It's about being in the moment, which I'm, not fully in favor of today. But on the way in, I did grab a star, which says, "Live in the moment." Sing the song of the moment in careless carols, in the transient light of the day. Sing of the fleeting smiles that vanish and never look back. Sing of the flowers that bloom and fade without regret. Weave not in memory's thread the days that would glide into nights. To the guests that go, to the guests that must go, bid Godspeed, and wipe away all traces of their steps. Let the moments end in moments with their cargo of fugitive songs. With both hands, snap the fetters you made with your own heart cords. Take to your breast with a smile what is easy and simple and near. Today is the festival of phantoms that know not when they die. Let your laughter flush in meaningless mirth like twinkles of light on the ripples. Let your life lightly dance on the verge of time, like a dew on the tip of a leaf. Strike in the chords of your harp the fitful murmurs of moments.
This last poem is from a Mary Oliver collection Erica kept by her bedside in the room she called Celestina, where she spent her final days. Erica shared a different Mary Oliver poem called Oxygen in what ended up being her final Erica's Cancer Journey newspaper column. She had found that poem by opening the book at random, and the timing was astounding. Right when she was struggling for air, here was a poem called Oxygen, describing and illuminating the sounds and associations of the new piece of medical equipment feeding her air. On my last scheduled visit with Erica, I decided to give it a try. I picked up the Mary Oliver book and I opened it at random. This is the poem I found, and it's the last thing I read to Erica. What the body says. I was born here and I belong here and I will never leave. The blue heron's gray smoke will flow over me for years, and the wind will decide all directions until I am safely and entirely something else.
I'm thinking this winter morning, as I sit by the fire, and the fire in its red rack keeps singing its crackling song of transformation.
Of course, I wonder about the mystery that is surely up there in starry space, and how some part of me will go there at last. But I'm talking now of the way the body speaks, and the wind that keeps saying, firmly, lovingly, a little while, and then this body will be stone, then it will be water, then it will be air.
Declan, Quinn, and Mike. Thank you.
As like all of you know, I hope, my name is Quinn. Quibble, Quinny, Quiz, Quinlan, whatever you call me. I'm learning Japanese and Spanish. I'm a judicial committee clerk, backup school meeting chair, and secretary of the garden club at my school. I have a dog, Casey, who won't stop barking, and a gecko, Tofu, who's an angsty teen with sticky feet. I was told at the young age of 9 that my mother was going to die. I cried, I prayed, I yelled, I screamed, until I accepted that she was going to die. I remember one night, a year or two after her diagnosis, I woke up to her crying in pain. I went to check on her and my dad. I got my newest puppet and put on a puppet show for her. She was laughing no matter the pain. Hospital rooms became her own decoration show. Nurse visits were a catch up with friends. Cancer growth became a new way to learn biology. My mom eventually went on hospice. She got an oxygen concentrator and a hospital bed. Once I brought my gecko downstairs and he climbed up her oxygen tube. He thought it was a branch. She started moving less and less. We named the oxygen concentrator Doopy and drew a small face on him. Everything felt so far away, and it was hard to notice how fast they were creeping up on me. Years became months, months became weeks, weeks became days, days became hours, hours became clocks. ticking and ticking on, slower and slower. I had a feeling she was going to die that night. I kissed her goodnight as if our last goodbye. My dad woke me up the next morning at our normal time to wake up and get ready to leave for school. He told me what happened. I decided not to go to school and help prep her body. It was an intimate educational process. It helped me to cope. The night after my mom passed, I saw the Twilight books, and I asked my dad. He said that Mom bought them and never got to read them. I hate Twilight and everything about it. So I sat down next to her and read until my voice hurt. The things I do for her. She's totally Team Edward, by the way. I'm Team burn these books and never see them again. Now, I can't stand here and say, why her? Why her of all people? But she was different. She was a teacher, not just in French, but in life. She taught me how to see something as unthinkable and tragic as death, and make it into something beautiful. Her journey was like an exploration for her. She made a garden out of a wasteland. She always told me that just because she was having a hard time, that didn't mean I couldn't have a hard time too. And that I am not just Erica's daughter, a grieving daughter who misses her mother with all her heart. I am Quinn, and I'm celebrating my life. And now, a poem from my puppet Zip. Chocolate hummus is pretty rad. Your family licked that stone? Makes me gag. But I am a puppet. I have no internal organs, so I don't have the ability to gag. Thank you very much.
Some stuff we did with my mom that was cool. So this one time we went to Disneyland, and I was really scared of roller coasters at the time, and we were going to Space Mountain, and we were going to Space Mountain, and it was a pretty scary roller coaster because it was completely in the dark. And we were going to Disneyland for some sort of cancer charity thing. That name I forgot. That one. And one thing that cancer gave us was the opportunity to do a lot of things we may have not been able to do otherwise. Through charities and and Inheritance Pope, it was a 3-day kind of thing in Florida, which was the first time me and Quinn, or maybe all of us, had ever been to Florida. You're disappointed? 5 days. And we went to 3 theme parks during that time. It was Disneyland, which I rode Space Mountain on, and then we went to SeaWorld, which me and my mom rode on a roller coaster called the Manta Ray, and that was really fun because we were like hanging upside down. And then the next day after that, we went to Universal Studios, which was that one was my favorite. That one was really cool. And there was a big roller coaster that I was really scared to go on because it was scary and metal and the death trap. I kept talking to my mom about how I was too scared to go on it, but I really wanted to, and she really encouraged me to go on it. And eventually, at like the very end of the day, I went on it. It was one of my favorite roller coasters of that entire trip, and one of my favorite memories. And she would always encourage me to do things I was scared to do, and things I was too nervous to do, and it was really great.
Hi, you again. Bet you all missed me, huh? Here's a last second thing that I totally did not completely forget to say. So, you're all familiar with the way that my mom acted, like, whoa! This is a game changer right here. I was thinking to myself last night, because I couldn't sleep, like, all the time, and I realized something. I was thinking, where am I going to see my mom again? If I do. And I realized it. Declan has the same personality as her, but you just can't hear him. He is that same bubbly personality with so much joy, but he's just, hi, I'm Declan. And I think that's where she'll stay with me, in Declan's quiet, mumbling voice. I realized this because this morning I woke him up to get ready for this, and he came downstairs with a PlayStation shirt on, and he had his button up like half on, and he said to me, "It is time to put on." I have no idea what that means, but he put his button-up shirt on after that, so I assume he meant his button-up. But I think that's my mother calling out to me, and I wish she'd call out to me in not that way, but hey.
First things first. Thank you all for coming here today. Family, Erica's friends, the 4 people I would know if I hadn't known Erica. I think you're out there somewhere. That's probably. Oh, my mom. The rest of you, probably sorry. Thanks to all the speakers for being a tough act to follow, and the performers, as well as the performers that will be at the concert later. Tim and Mike from SUNY for doing all the tech work and helping us get all this together, and all the volunteers. Special thanks to Carrie and Donna for being the organizers, from which I'm taking all the credit. And thanks to Sparrow's Nest for all the support they've given us. As you probably know, it's a fundraiser here for Sparrow's Nest, so they feed families all over the Hudson Valley who are dealing with cancer, so thank you to them. Erica is a force, like magnetism or gravity. For a time, she was also a person. When she was a person, she touched us all in different ways. Maybe she chased you down on the street because you happened to have a stroller and she didn't know you. And would make, I don't know, whoever was driving, stop the car And she would jump out and tell you all about, depending on the time of year, the new Paltz playgroup, or it's by parents. And much like Nora described, introduce yourself to you. And then you would walk away stunned. Or maybe after that initial encounter, she interviewed you relentlessly about every aspect or of some part of your entire life. Within a few minutes of meeting you, it's a second level thing. Including, if you saw on the slideshows, several of the celebrities she was joyed to meet after her diagnosis. I thought The Rock was going to pick her up and throw her out at one point. Or maybe, some night at I think it was 1 a.m., you found her walking up Springtown Road in the middle of the night in her giant purple coat, ankle-length grimace coat, because she ran her car off the road in the snow. And her answer to that was I'll just walk back into town. And then maybe you woke someone else up to help pull her car out of the ditch in the middle of the night. I didn't appreciate that. But for me, it looked like a few different things. I remember pulling into her apartment with a couple people in the car, and she would run inside and say, "I'm just going to be a minute." And we said, "Oh, okay, we'll wait in the car." We were heading to a party. After about 15 minutes, I went in and saw that she was making tabbouleh to bring to the party. Which, I think it's normal to wait out in the car while people cook. But it seemed a little weird to me. She would, anytime I had a purchase decision I was mulling over, because if any of you know me, I take forever to buy anything. And her response would always be, "You should get it. It's pennies a day." Yeah, lots of them sometimes. And she would always decide on dessert first. The rest of the meal was secondary. Pick your dessert and then figure out what goes with it. But also being loved and supported in the most total and honest way. Once Erica the person was diagnosed, all of those she touched rushed to help us. You all circled around us, provided food and rides, support and love, including a literal circle, her labyrinth created by our dear friend Linda Brooke, in our property, for her to walk, center, and meditate. This labyrinth with its nested circular path is like Erica's cancer journey. I walked this path with her, first the entrance, the realization of the great changes that had just landed on our family when she received her diagnosis, and then the circles of the path growing tighter and tighter as her disease progressed. The switchbacks representing the various loops in the roller coaster. The whole time she walked boldly and openly into the next ring towards the center, head on and heart strong. Finally, we arrived at the center, where we stood together for a minute, and then Erica the person left me to turn and walk back through the labyrinth on my own. But Erica the force continues to walk with all of us. We hear her cackle, her joyful laugh, breaking out over every other possible sound in the room, including any performers with all their amplification. She somehow makes us win the crappiest pink pool float prize package at the Thruway Ladies Night. But she brought us all together today to celebrate her, very specifically and by her own design. Oh, and she also is responsible for any good ideas Terry has. Just wanted to reiterate that. And it looks like she can make it rain. So that's, I guess, a power. In her own words, Erica the person lived her life. She saw it, she loved it, she ate it. And now Erica the force has the entire universe to snack on. Thank you all for coming.
So, as Mike mentioned, we do have the concert, which will follow this portion. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the concert has been moved up to High Meadow School in Stone Ridge because of the weather. But it's going to be just off the charts. And it's been mentioned already today that Erica really designed all of this. She's very specific. She sat in council with some dear friends